Sarah had always been an optimistic girl, but the last few months had been unbearable. The weight of depression and anxiety bore down on her shoulders like an invisible yoke, making even the simplest tasks seem monumental. Every day felt like a grueling marathon with no finish line in sight. She attended church sporadically, but even there, she felt like a shadow of her former self. One Sunday morning, Sarah dragged herself out of bed and decided to go to church, hoping to find some solace. She arrived just as the sermon began. Pastor Lucas was speaking about trials and tribulations. He quoted, "The Lord is near to the brokenhearted and saves the crushed in spirit." Psalm 34, verse 18. Sarah felt a lump in her throat and her eyes started to water. For the first time in a long while, she felt she wasn't alone in her suffering. After the service, Sarah stayed behind to speak with Pastor Lucas. "I don't know what to do anymore," she admitted, tears streaming down her face. "I feel so lost and nothing seems to help." Pastor Lucas listened intently, his face kind and understanding. "Sarah, remember that God never gives us more than we can handle. It's written in 1 Corinthians 10, verse 13, that He will not let you be tempted beyond what you can bear. But when you are tempted, He will also provide a way out so that you can endure it." His words were a balm to her weary soul. He suggested she join a small group within the church where people supported each other through prayer and shared experiences. Hesitant but hopeful, Sarah attended her first meeting. The group was warm and welcoming. They shared stories of struggles and faith, and for the first time, Sarah felt a sense of community. Each week, they prayed together and read from the Bible. It became a safe space for Sarah to express her fears without judgment. During one of the meetings, an elderly woman named Martha shared her story of battling depression after losing her husband. She spoke of how she had clung to the promise in Jeremiah 29, verse 11. "For I know the plans I have for you, declares the Lord, plans to prosper you and not to harm you, plans to give you hope and a future." Sarah found comfort in Martha's story, realizing that others had faced similar struggles and found their way through faith. Things didn't change overnight, but Sarah began to notice small improvements. She started praying more, pouring out her heart to God, and reading scriptures that spoke of hope and healing. One day, she came across Isaiah 41, verse 10, which read, "So do not fear, for I am with you. Do not be dismayed, for I am your God. I will strengthen you and help you. I will uphold you with my righteous right hand." She wrote it down and carried it with her as a constant reminder of God's presence. Slowly, the fog of depression began to lift. Her anxiety became more manageable, and she found herself smiling more often. The church community played a vital role in her recovery, providing her with a support system that was always there to lift her up when she fell down. Months later, Sarah stood before the congregation, sharing her own testimony. She spoke of the dark days, but more importantly, she spoke of the light she found through her faith.